Hello, boys and girls. Happy Sunday. How's everybody doing today? Just want to make sure that my phone is on mute. I don't want to be rude, People interrupt me from time to time. How's everyone doing today? Everybody good? Everybody doing okay today? My mic is a little too far away. Let me put this a little closer here so we don't get some weird feedback. Sorry, guys. Minor adjustments here. There we go. Is that better? Can you hear me okay? Let me know if it's too hot. If it's, and what I mean is not hot by the temperature. I mean hot by maybe the voice is a little bit too loud. Is that okay, guys? You hear me all right? Give me a thumbs up if everything checks out okay. Okay, good. Good. All right. So good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody? I'd like to see some thumbs up if everybody's doing okay. Just give me, all is okay in terms of what's happening on your side, guys. Not necessarily my side. I want to make sure everybody's in a good mood today and ready for some chatting and ready for some good gear talk. We're going to be talking about a lot of interesting things today. So welcome to the show. Basically, Addicted to Gear, guys. If you guys already, if you haven't already been tuning in regularly, you know that this channel is all about gear, and the Sunday show is basically a chance for us to catch up in person. And so it gives you guys an opportunity to ask questions, and most of all is share information, not just listening to me, but sharing information back and forth between all of us. So that is what the Sunday show is all about. I hope you guys take advantage and ask your questions. Don't wait. I know there's a lot of guys that are kind of shy. They don't want to ask the questions right away. Don't be shy. Jump in right away. That the most important thing is to get your questions in early so we have a chance to answer them. All right. If you guys are lurking in the shadows without participating, it makes things boring. So generally, I ask everybody to start asking the questions from the get-go. Don't wait till I ask questions. If you have, gear that you've purchased or thinking of buying, or, an issue with anything, ask it right away. We're going to be on for about an hour or so. I usually try and stay on for about an hour, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, whatever. We just take it, we play it by ear. But this is what we're all about. So thank you for supporting the channel. One of the ways you can support the channel is obviously tuning in, which you guys are already doing, obviously giving thumbs up whenever I post videos or whenever we do these interactive Sunday shows. Obviously the super chats are appreciated, as well as anyone who's picked up some swag that goes directly into onto supporting the channel and allows us to do what we love to do. So a little echoey on the mic. Okay, that's better. I think that's better. Good. All right, guys. So today I'm playing this guitar. This is, it might look familiar, but I don't think it is. This is something I put together just recently, actually. This is the end result. Well, not really the end result because it's still a work in progress. This is a guitar that I had parts for. I had a really nice 3-tone sunburst body, and I had a neck, and I had some gold hardware and whatnot. So I decided to put together my very own sort of SRV inspired Strat. As you can see, it's not 100% finished. There's certain things that I still have to do to it. But it's coming along nicely. This is sort of what you're seeing here is kind of the dry fit to see if everything is working okay, if I'm getting the sound out of the electronics, but most of all to see whether or not the neck feels right. I haven't done any of the adjustments yet. I kind of just slapped it together, so there's a lot of things that are still required in terms of intonation and just relief of the neck. I'm missing a string T here, string. I don't have a gold one, so I didn't put one in yet. So the high E string keeps popping off, which is a little bit of a pain, but it'll slowly get there. And it's awesome to when you put together a guitar for the first time, you don't know if it's gonna play well, sound good, mostly feel properly. You know, feel the way you're looking, what you're looking for. And this one I can already tell is going to be a nice guitar, even though it's not even set up yet. So this is, I think, going to be my 7th Strat right now. But you can always use one more Strat. That's what I always say. So I have some questions already coming in. So I'll jump in and answer your questions as they come in. So BC Rich 581 wants to know, soldering a replacement 3-position switch today. I want to know any ideas that people have regarding a good way to protect the finish from potential solder drips damaging the finish. Yeah, I mean, you got to be super careful when you're soldering on your guitar or in your guitar. I recommend, if you can, try and do the soldering outside of the guitar. You know, you can do that by just making yourself a little approximate jig with the hole spacing that you have on your guitar with a little piece of cardboard. You can just measure where the locations of the holes are, punch a hole through based on your guitar, and then do the wiring on the cardboard jig, and then move it into your guitar to do the final connections. It makes it a lot less risky. What you can also do is just protect your guitar with some either a piece of fabric or a piece of cardboard or paper, even just something that covers the front of your guitar as much as possible, because sometimes we risk it. I've done it too, where I kind of go in without any protection, and you know, it's an accident waiting to happen. Luckily, I haven't had any issues yet, but it's bound to happen. So definitely take the precautions there if you can. Let's see here. Mark says the mic sounds fine. Great, thank you for that, Mark. Here comes Trouble. You can hear Tip tapping her way in. There she is, barging in again. These dogs, I'm telling you. Yeah, okay. Hey there. All right. So a show wouldn't be complete without a snoring dog in the background, right? So there she is. There was another question here. Octopus Ears wants to know, with the larger block in the Silver Sky SE, how much did that affect the travel of the trem? That's a good question. There's actually quite a bit of spacing. If you look at my the video that I just put up on the SE, if you go to the end where I'm giving you the gut shots of the guitar, you'll notice that there's quite a bit of spacing between the block, the edge of the block, and the edge of the guitar. Similar to this, actually, because this is a pretty big block as well. Very similar. So generally, you know, when you're diving, you have quite a bit of room. Pulling up, not as much, you know, but generally you do have a little bit of room there. I didn't feel that it was hindering me in any way in terms of how far I usually go with the bends. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what it's all about. Hey, Sim Brando, nice to see you here. Thanks for taking time out from building your awesome guitar. For those of you who may not know, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but Sim Brando is working on a really killer looking Beretta. He got himself a Kramer Beretta Special, and he's doing the EVH treatment on it right now, and it's looking really sharp. So maybe once that's done, we can share some of the photos on that great work you're doing. It's looking really nice so far. You know, it's always nice to have a project going on. Since we're in May and, you know, we're getting ready for summer, we're hopefully getting, it's going to get a little warmer, hopefully, eventually. At least it's getting a little warmer now here. It's a beautiful, gorgeous day today, not a cloud in the sky, and it's looking like it's going to be a nice warm day. So I'm super happy with that. So I'm not going to be surprised if we have a few less people coming in on Sundays when it's actually getting warmer out there, because, you know, everybody wants to be outside. We're all kind of starving for some sunshine, so I don't blame you guys. But if you trickle in, that's good too. Let's see here. Eddie says, Tony, when you wire the 5-way switch, which tab is the neck, which is the bridge when soldering? Well, it's pretty easy to actually tell that, because when you're on the 5-way, Eddie, and you're all the way up like this on the 5-way, you know, usually it's facing the neck pickup. Well, the neck pickup connection is usually the one on the opposite end. You'll see the switch when you put it in the 5-way. You'll see where the little switch touches the tab when you're in the position 5. That's where you should be soldering. That's where you should be connecting. And it's the opposite when you're in the bridge position, if that makes sense. Good question. Good question. Looks like a lot of people are working on guitars. There's a lot of guitar soldering and building questions here. That's good. Good. Matt says, just picked up a used JHS 3 Series Hall reverb. Really happy with it. Very versatile. Was able to sell more expensive Nunabur reverb pedals. So I guess you're a real reverb connoisseur. There's a lot of nice reverbs you're talking about there. I think both of those reverb pedals sound really nice. I had an opportunity to try them both, and very nice sounding reverbs. You have to have a good reverb. There's nothing worse than a tinny sounding or fake sounding reverb to mess up your sound. You know, the ear can pick it up, even though it's very nuanced and it's very. You think it's being hidden and it's not very upfront in terms of an effect. But generally, if the reverbs are not up to par, your ear can really pick it up. All right, so I didn't say hi to anybody, so I'm kind of feeling a little rude here. So let me start from the end and work my way the opposite direction. So we have Octopus Ears in here from California. Nice to see you, Octopus. We have Quicksilver. Nice to see you, Fat Philosopher. Hope you're doing well. We have Alan. We have Cool Tunes, Cushman, Mark. We have Presley, California Customs, Saint Brando, as I mentioned. So a lot of familiar names. BC Rich 581. Nice to see you as well. Quicksilver. Good, good, good. It looks like Keith is here as well. Eagle and the Pony Show. That's a new name. I have a pickup that the top string working, touching with a screwdriver. Bottom 3 are dead. Any info? Let me see if I can understand this. I have a pickup that the top strings are working, touching with a screwdriver. Bottom 3 are dead. Any information would be great. Interesting. So you have like a half working pickup. So that seems like it could very well be a broken wire within the pickup wind. But it's odd to me because generally you have, unless it's a special, uniquely wound pickup, usually if a wire is broken, it's broken, and you're going to have a dead pickup. But now you're saying you're only getting half of your pickup. That's an interesting scenario. I don't know what would cause that. This is obviously a single coil pickup, right? Interesting. I don't know. Maybe someone else could pipe in on that. I haven't actually had an experience where only half a pickup was working like that. What could cause that? I would have to do. Can you give me a little bit more information on what type of pickup it is, or maybe from what guitar it is? Interesting. Octopus here says, throw out the pickup and never contemplate it. LOL. Don't drive yourself crazy. Well, yeah, if it's a cheap pickup, unless you're absolutely in love with that pickup, that would be the easy solution. But some people like the pickups, they want to save them. Vox says, my tech completely rewired my Les Paul switch because up was bridge and down was neck. Up was bridge, down was neck. I asked him why he didn't just rotate the switch around 180 degrees. Probably because maybe he's anal about it. Well, you can't really. Sometimes you can't just rotate things around because the length of the wires within the cavity won't allow you to do it. And it's better to do the job right if it is backwards like that. You know. I would say you have a good tech if he's taking the time to do it right. Bruce says if it's a ceramic pickup, maybe a piece of the magnet broke off. True, I didn't think of that, Bruce. That's a good point. That is a good point. But but that would be more likely in a humbucker. Is it a humbucker? Oh, it is a humbucker. Okay, yeah. You mentioned it. Yeah. So if it is a humbucker, yeah. Does that mean that it's the last three poles don't work on both of the wines or just one? Because yeah, if it is a humbucker and it is a ceramic magnet, that would make sense. Because if the magnet is cracked somewhere, broken in two, that may cause a problem. But I don't know if the magnet is broken, if it would actually. I think might still work if the magnet is broken. Good question. And Mark says maybe part of the pickup became demagnetized. That could also potentially be potentially be a cause. Maybe did you have the magnets like in a bag together for whatever reason, or was the actual pickup actually exposed to anything weird like water or anything like that? So he says it's Japan 1970 ES335. I could see why you want to save that pickup there. Interesting. I can't think for the life of me what else it could be. You can definitely check the magnet. You can actually see if it seems like any of the wines are affected, rusted, maybe broken, demagnetized. Could be a possibility if the pickup was stored somewhere. But if it was just in the guitar like that, I wouldn't see why that would all of a sudden get demagnetized. Quicksilver says the guitar was probably ran through a grocery store conveyor belt and got demagnetized. I'm pretty sure that's not the case. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you would have to have a pretty powerful magnet. Peekaboo says heat can kill a magnet too, but again, it's just odd that it's only half a magnet. You can like Octopus Ears suggests, you can easily I don't know if this is a covered pickup or not, but you can easily at least open it up and take a look inside and see if there's anything loose. If the pickup is wax potted, it would even seem more unlikely that the ceramic magnet may crack. I'm not sure, man. Yeah, if you really like that pickup, you can definitely have it rewound by someone. But unless it's something very, very unique, you can probably get an off-the-shelf replacement for it. That's probably going to cost you a lot less than having somebody try to rewire it, Interesting. If anybody else has any suggestions, let us know on that one. That's a good question. Got me stumped on that one. I like it. I like when Sunday starts off with some good questions like that. So today, tonight I'm actually gonna be rehearsing with the boys. Last weekend we had to cancel. One of the members actually tested positive. So unfortunately we had to cancel that one, but apparently he's doing okay now. He's tested negative, so it seems like things are back in order. So I guess we're gonna be jumping in for another rehearsal. I haven't decided which guitar I want to bring today. I definitely feel like I need a Strat today. We're going to be playing some songs that are definitely Strat oriented. So I was hoping to bring this one, but because I don't have a string tree on it, the actual let me see here. The actual E string pops off often, especially when you're trying to if you try and And also because the string tree's not there, kind of the tuning goes out of whack pretty quick. Also because these are new strings and I haven't really stretched them out properly. So yeah, I'm not going to be playing it too much today here. Just wanted to give you a little taste of what that guitar sounds like. So I'm thinking a Strat, probably not this one, maybe one of my other Strats, or perhaps the Silver Sky. Before I have to send it back, I was thinking maybe that one, I'd take that one for the last kick around today, maybe something like that. That would be cool, I think. I usually go to the last minute before I actually decide what I'm gonna bring. You know, sometimes I get my mind on a certain guitar for most of the day, and then last minute, just before I leave, I decide to grab something else. So I'm gonna see what it turns out to be today. Leonard says, I've seen an old made in Japan guitar where they use two separate magnets on a humbucker instead of one larger one, and it has the same problem. One magnet was totally dead. So that's maybe something. Yeah, that's a good observation. Perhaps it is one of those magnets. Definitely open it up. Just take a peek inside if you can. At least you can decide, you know, what you think the problem might be and whether or not it's worth checking, spending more time on it, you know. Yeah, cool question. Who else actually got anything interesting this past week or so? Anybody else picked up anything cool that you want to share? I don't know if anybody is actually selling off gear right now. In the springtime, I usually like to sell off a few things and just prepare for some new stuff. I'm keeping my eye on things that are popping up on the market that look interesting. So far, I'm not really tempted by much. There is a really nice 345 actually, that I was looking at, but again, the seller is asking for the same price that it's selling for new, even though he bought it and it is used. You know, when it's like buying a new car. When you drive it off the lot, it depreciates. So I don't think he's really willing to lose much money that he put into the guitar. It's a shame that, you know, he bought a new guitar and it's still got the plastic on it and he wants to sell it. So obviously he didn't bond with that guitar. The only reason I would say that maybe the guitar would not be something you'd bond with is the T-top pickups that are in it. A lot of people don't like the T-tops. In my 335, I have the 57 Classics, which I really like a lot. But I know in that guitar there are T-tops that some people don't find as nice in terms of sound. But that's it, you know, that's it. So, I don't know where I'm going to end up. I got to find, guys, maybe you guys could help me on this. This guitar is missing the gold arm. I went with the gold hardware on this because this is what I had lying around, and I had enough to actually finish the guitar. So I had the tuners, the bridge, and everything else, as well as the screws. And I figured I'd build myself an SRV kind of tribute Strat, you know, just to make it look different from the others that I have. But I don't have a screw in whammy bar in gold. And because I don't think this is an American bridge, I'm going to have to try and find one that fits that's gold. It might be a little bit of a challenge unless you guys know of a place that I might be able to find one. And pick one up. It's not a deal breaker because I don't really use the arm on my Strats all that much, but it's nice to have everything finished. I can put in a regular one, you know, that's not gold, but it's gonna look odd. I don't think I'd like to be. I'm a little bit of a stickler when it comes to finalizing that stuff, you know, making it look right. So looks plays really nice so far. What are we talking about? So, guys, I know some of you were looking at some guitars recently. We won't name names. Mark. I don't know what happened. So, Mark, did you end up getting it or not? You're teasing me now. Mark was at a store recently after, I guess, I posted my... I don't know if my video influenced him. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't want to necessarily be the one. You can blame me if you wish, whatever. But Mark went to a store and he tried out the Silver Sky SE for himself. The Forbidden Fruit guitar, we call it. And Mark was hinting that he may have purchased said guitar. But he didn't give me all the details, so I'm not sure. So Mark says, Tony, you know what I got. So did you end up buying it, Mark? Well, if you did, congratulations, because it looked like a nice guitar. I mean, it definitely suited you in terms of the color, the purple. Mark says, no, it's like half between red and purple, depends on the lighting. Check the Stratosphere, Tony, for the trem arm. Yeah, I don't like dealing with the Stratosphere, Mark. I've had bad experiences with them in the past, but we'll see. So, yeah, so basically, congratulations, Mark. Awesome. So what was the final cause for you to pick up the guitar finally? I know you have a nice collection of guitars. Was it just you were looking for another PRS, or did that guitar really... So Mark is partially blaming me. So I guess if the wife is in the room, you could definitely blame me. No problems there. You wouldn't be the first, Mark. So what caused you to pull the trigger on the guitar? What was your impression on it? Was it the first one you tried, or were you trying other ones? I know there's a lot of polarization when it comes to the Silver Sky, specifically the SE. Even putting up the video that I did, there was so many people bashing it. It's incredible. I mean, I know guitars are not for everyone. Depending on your taste and your style and all that kind of stuff, you might like a guitar, you might not. But the Silver Sky specifically causes so many people to just get like upset about it. I don't know what it is. I keep my horizons open. I try a guitar, and I try not to base myself on anything negative about a guitar. I like to make up my own mind. So when I tried the SE, I liked it. I'd buy one if I had some extra cash lying around. I would definitely buy one. It's definitely different enough from my Strat to warrant, it wouldn't be... I mean, look, I'm a guy who has 7 Strats. You know what I mean? How different are actual Strats from each other? I would say pretty different. Individual Strats that are, all Strats feel and play differently from one another. So the Silver Sky is no different for me. I wouldn't say it's a Strat carbon copy by any means. It does its own thing. The question is whether or not it's fun to play or easy to play. And I think it's a real easy guitar to play. And I'm curious to see what Mark feels about the guitar now that he has it. I mean, he's still in the honeymoon phase for the guitar, so he might like it for a while, and then it might end up being sold. Who knows? But I hope not. So let's see here. Mark says, I used to have the core Silver Sky, huge neck, and it was lacquered. So I sold it for something else. The SE was super comfortable and sounded great. That's my opinion. Is the same. It feels really easy to play, and it's the neck is not bulky, and it just feels effortless to play, in my opinion. What else here? And Mark says, I've owned many Strats and people hate on PRS, but it's just a quality playability thing. I've been gigging for 20 years. PRS are just so solid at every price point. Yeah, and I think the SEs that they're popping out with, not just the Silver Sky, but the SEs in general, are good quality, good value for the money still, especially if you can grab them used. They're usually well built, the quality control on them. At least I haven't really seen major issues with any of them. The only odd thing with the Silver Sky is that, when I did open up the guitar, especially towards the end of the video, you'll see that. And I just found it odd, if you guys noticed, that the neck pocket is basically cored out till the first pickup. So you don't have the wood that's normally there that stops the bottom of the neck when you put it in the neck pocket, like a normal Strat would be. I don't know why they would go to the trouble of doing that. There must be a reason. It doesn't seem like it causes the pickup not to fit. you know. So it's just weird that they would be going to extra trouble to remove more wood when they could just leave it there. So that was a little bit of a head scratcher. I'm wondering if that's just my guitar, and maybe my guitar was like a pre-production version. I'm not sure. But eventually, Mark, if you have an opportunity to pull off the pickup cover, the pick guard, take a look. Let me know if yours is the same. It should be. Vox says, I don't like the 3 on a side tuners on a Silver Sky. Trivial, I know, but it bugs me. I don't mind the 3 on a side because I have other PRS guitars that are the same. So, you know, I'm used to the 3 on a side situation. It does take a bit of time to get used to, especially if you're used to the Strat look, you know, of having them all on the same side. For me, the only thing that kind of bothered me a little bit, where I just found a little odd, was why they decided to make the carve at the top of the headstock the other way around. I mean, I'm pointing to my Strat, but I have the Silver Sky right here. Let me just grab it. Not that I want this to become a Silver Sky video, but we're talking about the guitar. We're talking about guitars. We might as well point to the real thing. So this is what I meant. This, you know, like this is the other way around. Normally on PRS guitars, the pointy side is up, but in this particular case, it's down. So, ooh, I didn't even tune this guitar. Yeah, it definitely needs to be tuned. I pulled off the strings on the guitar when I actually did all of the gut shots, and I guess I didn't tune it back up. I'll just do that fast. So that is one of the things that I'm always surprised by, how many people are just taken back by the Silver Sky, the PRS stuff. It's like it really like offended people, I think. I don't know why. It's only a guitar. And unless you're a really hardcore Strat. Well, that's way off. Almost there. There we go. That's better. One more. Getting there, getting there. Sorry about that, guys. That one was way off. A little more. There we go. That should be good. So yeah, if you're not really a fan of the look and feel of the Silver Sky, I mean, you can definitely get yourself a Strat for the same amount of money, maybe even less, because, you know, Strats are easier to come by nowadays with all of the issues with the supply chain. I don't even know how many of the Silver Skies you can actually find in a store right now, unless you get pretty lucky like Mark did. But, you know, basically, you have the opportunity to go Strat, full Strat, or you have an opportunity to do this. For me, like I said, because I have so many Strats already, I'm kind of all Stratted out, and I prefer to get something a little bit with a little different flavor, just to have something a little different. You know what I mean? So anyways, good, congratulations on that, Mark. I'm wondering how it's going to sound through the Katana or the Mesa, if you haven't already sold that. But give me some updates as you try it live in a live situation. I felt it did extremely well in a live situation when I was playing with the band. So then maybe that's why tonight I'll take this one again. Take it with me. I wonder if... I wonder how many of you just don't like them because of the colors. That's something that came up over and over again, at least for me. People agreed with me on the video that some of the colors are, you know, a little bit too far out there for me. I think the purple is interesting. I like the moon color. I think those are the two colors I like more than the green. The green is, again, something that you would have to get used to. But I guess eventually they're going to come out some nice colors as well, other colors, maybe with a maple fretboard or whatever, and they might entice a few more people to at least take a look at it, you know. But other than that, I think it makes a really nice guitar. Beyond the Silver Sky, I mean, I haven't really seen that many new guitars out there that I'm actually lusting for. The Beretta, as I mentioned, St. Brando picked up a Beretta and he's modding it. The Berettas are still great value, those Beretta specials, because you can easily mod them like he's doing. You can decide to go full Floyd on that. You can get one for like as little as $200 or something around there, with taxes maybe a little bit over $200. I've seen them at local Long and McQuaid's where they have, you know, the price on the guitar and they say this is how much it will cost you per month, and it was like $8 a month or something like that. So I mean, honestly, for $8 a month, there's no reason why you shouldn't grab one of those guitars when you can, because like I said, they're great the way they are. And if you decide to upgrade them and maybe put in a new pickup in them, or do your own paint job or whatever it is, you know, you can't get the parts for that kind of money, let alone a fully built guitar. So, you know, one of the things that you might want to consider. Eddie Jr. says, I played hour plus shows with my CE22 and never tuned. Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, Eddie. You know, no, but I get you. I find that the PRSs do hold tuning rather well, because the fact that the strings are straight through the slots of the nut. They're not deviating and bending, you know, kinking over to one side or another like you normally get with a Gibson style guitar. That helps. LTD is a really good line of instruments. I have two, and both superb players. For the price point, I take a 1000 series over an LP Studio, to be honest. I've tried the LP Studios and I agree with you. I wasn't really a big fan of the LP Studios. They didn't seem, the one I tried anyways, didn't seem solid to me, like it would stand the test of time. You know what I mean? BC Rich says, I got so tired of adjusting bass necks. I had a graphite and aluminum neck made, and now it's bulletproof. Yeah, I would assume that the graphite and aluminum doesn't really get affected by climate as much. I wonder if it's, well, I mean, if it's graphite and aluminum, it's pretty light, but it sounds like it's going to be pretty expensive. Where did you get that? Where did you get that made? Where did you find that? Fat Philosopher says, haven't answered my question and I asked twice, LOL. Also ordered a Telecaster. Sorry about that, Fat Philosopher. You scroll back, I think. I'm scrolling around, so I might have missed your question. Let me see here. Let me scroll back. I don't want to offend anybody. Hold on. Let me see, Fat Philosopher. What was your question, Fat Philosopher? And you asked twice, so I apologize. Let me go back here. Must have been asked really early on. I'm going way back here and I don't see your question here. Let me see. Okay, I see your question here about the Seafoam Lefty Telecaster by Sawtooth for $200. You pull the trigger and I have some Telecaster pickups to put in it. So congratulations on that. Seafoam is really a really nice question. What pickups are you going to put in there? Was there a question before that? That's not really a question. So let me see here. I can't find it. Okay. Oh, my dog's really snoring away back there. I can't order a cheap seafoam green lefty tail this week. Okay, I see that one. And got 2 guitars coming at the moment. I see that one. Thumbs up. I see that one. I'm sorry, I don't see your question here. Can you just copy and paste it? If you don't mind, Fat Philosopher, just copy and paste it again. I'll try and... I don't want to waste time looking back and forth. Yeah, ask it again, Fat Philosopher, please. That would save me some time searching for it here. Sorry, the questions go by so quick and I jump around back and forth. So BC Rich says the neck was made by Illuminati. It's called Andromeda. Oh man, and it was about $1,000 and change. Holy mackerel! I like the name though. Since they're making aluminum and graphite neck, that's a pretty nice name. Illuminati. Pretty cool. Mark says my Silver Sky sounds more stratty than my GNL. Can't wait to gig it in the early stages of starting another band. Cool. So what band, Mark? You're doing what? A cover band, or you're doing covers mostly? Oh my God, my dog she's really snoring away there. EF, do any of your strats have 500K pots? No, EF, most of my strats don't. I usually go with 250. The pickups are not that high gain that I would need to go with the 500K. I find that would probably make the pickup sound too harsh. Eddie says he's not bonding with his S2 McCarty, and it's killing me because it's a great guitar. I don't know. Eddie, what are you not liking about the guitar? Are you not liking the pickups or what? Let me just nudge the dog here because she's really going to town. She's really going to town with the snoring to like wake her here. Is it the pickups that you're not bonding with? Because that's an easy fix. If it's the neck or something else, I don't know. And BC Rich 581 says it was $1,010 US shipped. That's not inexpensive. That's something pretty. You're spending a lot of money, but if you end up getting what you like and it breathes new life into your guitar, then that's what you need. Let's see here. What do you think of Floyd Rose specials? Are they as bad as people say? In my opinion, yes. In my opinion, I wouldn't waste money on those Floyds. Because basically what ends up happening is that you're gonna go through the trouble, you're gonna put it in, you're gonna try to get it adjusted and all that, and it's just gonna be a hassle. And at the end of the day, you're always gonna be tinkering with it, and you're not gonna end up liking your guitar. You're gonna get frustrated. I would say save your money, buy yourself a better quality bridge. Even if you can't afford, say you don't want to spend as much money as a German Floyd costs. You can definitely go the Godot route and get yourself a Godot Floyd version. They're much better than the specials. They don't look the same. I guess for legal reasons, they can't make them look the same, but they definitely perform better. The Gospel Mark says, Eddie Jr., that's a bummer. Maybe it's a scale length thing. They're pretty short. Is it a feel or sound? Maybe their setup. Yeah, setup is super important. Definitely scale length will come into play. I'm not a big fan of guitars that have 22 frets for whatever reason. I actually prefer guitars with a little bit of a shorter scale. And it just feels better to me. But definitely, if the guitar is not set up properly, try different gauge strings, perhaps. You know, a good setup does wonders. You know, so I'm not really sure why that is. Quicksilver says, I'm done with cheap guitars, no more tinkering and or upgrading. Are you sure, Quicksilver? I mean, I've said that plenty of times too, but I end up, you know, even expensive guitars, I end up tweaking. Because, you know, you want to enjoy the guitar, especially if it's an expensive guitar. If you don't like, you know, there's something specific you don't like about it, and it's an easy thing to fix, why wouldn't you, you know? I've rarely found a guitar that I felt was perfect out of the gate, where I looked at the guitar and I said nothing on this guitar could be made better. Rarely has that happened. So it's just a question of how, you know, if you're gonna be appeased by what you have, and maybe just focus on your playing and not necessarily the tweaking part of it, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I highly encourage people to spend more time playing and practicing than tweaking the guitars. But sometimes, you know, when you're playing the guitar and you're constantly going back to that point, you're like, I definitely feel like I could just change this one thing and make it so much better. Why wouldn't you do that? Fast Philosopher says, Tony, my question is just about eddies. Okay. Just about eddies. Okay, I'm just trying to see what the question was. Oh my God, my dog is really like driving me crazy. So, what is Eddie's question? Sorry, Fat Philosopher, I don't mean to be a pain. Just like I don't see the trail of the question. So, if you don't mind, just reposting your question would be quicker. Fat Philosopher says, I wonder if there's a reason Tony can't see my question asked 3 times now. I see you asking over and over, but I don't see your question. So just post it again, Fat Philosopher. I don't see it here. I see you answering questions, but I don't see the question you were asking. Why is that? Is it disappearing or what? That's odd. Just ask the question again. Yeah, it would be easier. Quicksilver, House of Twang says, Quicksilver, I've gotten to that point. I won't buy it unless it does it for me. Well, that's definitely the attitude. It takes a long time for a question to come from Japan. That's the other side of the world. Yeah, I know you're not blocked or anything, Fat Philosopher. I mean, I see your question. I see you answering or you know, talking about your question, but I don't see the initial question. BC Rich says, PRS makes a really good instrument. I've just not been able to find one that I really like other than the 245, which is one of my favorites. It's a little odd for PRS, too, basically a higher end short scale, and it's a bit weird. I stick with the 245 format. I like the single cut versions of the PRS guitars. I like the 245s because they are shorter scale. And I'm going to just poke my dog one more time here. Snorri dog. And those are the ones that I've actually bonded with the most. Beyond the Silver Sky. The Silver Sky and the 245 are probably my favorite. Like I like the Zach Myers version that I have, as well as the 245s. I like those guitars a lot. The standard 22s, I had one and I didn't bond with that one. So yeah, there are, you know, a little bit of nuances here and there. Maybe Godzilla intercepted Fat's question in transit. If Fat Philosopher can't repost the question, can somebody else just grab that question and repost it, please? We can't see your question, Fat Philosopher. Whatever you're doing isn't working. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't know why. Is it a bug? Is it a virus? What's going on? Quicksilver says, as a lefty, it's like pulling on a thread that leads you down in tearing up the whole thing like that. I usually start with the pots since left guitars always come with right-handed pots. Yeah, that could be annoying. That could really be annoying. Granddad Plays Guitar says, is there a pedal or a rack or something that makes it sound like a guitar plugged straight into an amp? Too much gear sometimes. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff like that. There's plenty. You can throw a rock and hit a multi-effects unit that does stuff like that, Granddad. So I don't know if there's something specific you're looking at. Something that makes it sound like you're going right into an amp. I mean, the multi-effects units are designed to do that all night long. Check out the Ampero 2. Check out the... it's a great little unit from Hotone. Highly recommend that one. There's a few other ones as well, but that's a nice one. Not too much money either. House of Twang says, I couldn't get with the pickups until I found one with Seymour Duncan's. Yeah, sometimes it's just a question of not necessarily having the sound that you hear in your head come through the guitar. And if you're used to hearing Duncan pickups and all of a sudden the new guitar, has slightly different tonality in terms of the pickups, and PRS are known to sound a little bit different in terms of their pickups, that could be it. Maybe you're listening more for a Les Paul sound or something like that in your head, and you're not getting it. The pickups on PRS guitars are finicky like that. I've upgraded some pickups on my PRS guitars, and it sounded more like what I was looking for. That being said, I think the Silver Sky pickups would probably stay. I don't think I would want to change the pickups on this guitar per se. All right, yeah, switch to your iPad, Fat Philosopher. Maybe that'll do it. It's really odd. Seems odd that your questions are being filtered for whatever reason. I know I'm not doing anything on my end. Well, definitely experiment with other types of guitars, BC Rich. If you find that, it's really not doing it for you, you definitely don't want to have a guitar that's expensive like that lying around gathering dust. Take it, sell it, put it towards something that does it for you. But before you give up on the PRS guitars, try a few different versions, and you might find one that you like. And if not, hey, it's okay, because you just discovered that maybe PRS doesn't do it for you. Don't waste your time. Go with something else, and maybe you get a guitar that's less expensive and really you really enjoy playing at that point. Quicksilver says, Fat Philosopher, change the setting in the live chat from top chat to live chat. Is the question about Eddie being naked or something that YouTube is immediately blocking? Yeah, it could be. Could be a comment about Eddie's nether regions that's being blocked. I don't think so. That's funny. You guys are funny. I'm always on the hunt for that Hotone. Surfer By says, good morning, Tony and all from Boston. I'm late, but I'm asking for some prayers for my mom, Monica, this morning. That's in hospice with me and took a bad turn last couple of days. Oh no, man. Dude, I'm really sorry about that. I'm really sorry to hear your mom's not doing well. Guys, let's all throw some positive vibes in the direction of Surfer By and his mom Monica. Hopefully hopefully things go better for you guys. It's always really, really tough when something doesn't go right with your mom. And my prayers are going out to you guys. Hang in there. Be strong. Be strong for your mom. It's super important. As you guys know, both my parents passed away not long ago, just a couple of months, and honestly, it's very hard. It's the hardest thing to go through when your parents are not doing well. So please send some positive vibes his way if you guys don't mind. Goes a long way, I think. Hang in there, buddy. I'm just trying to see if I still don't see Fat Philosopher's question here. Wayne McDonald says, I see our friend Landon Bailey is moving in on your time slot, Tony. Oh no, what are we gonna do? I gotta have to have a talk with Landon. Whatever, he's allowed to post his stuff whenever he likes. No big issues there. The good thing about the live stuff is that if you miss it, you can always catch it later. It's always more fun to be live. Fat Philosopher, I don't see any questions, dude. I'm not doing it on purpose to try and yank your chain. Like I said, if anybody else can see Fat Philosopher's initial question, please copy and paste it on his behalf. Can't see it. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, lately a lot of my, not to turn this into a negative conversation, but, after hearing the news of what Surfer By just said, there's a lot of people this last period of a year and a half, 2 years, a lot of people have unfortunately gone through some rough times with their families and loved ones health-wise, and so a lot of them have seen their loved ones passed on. I don't know if it's an age thing. I mean, I'm getting to the point where obviously, my parents were getting into their late 80s, and I was lucky enough to have them around for that much time, and I appreciate it every day to be able to spend that much time. But it's never easy when it comes time to have to say goodbye to anybody, and my heart goes out to you guys when I hear news like that. It really does. I'm really hoping for the best. Let me just, while we're waiting for Fat Philosopher to get his stuff organized so we can ask his elusive question, we're going to move on, and we're going to be talking about some other stuff here. One of the things I read, speaking of finally being able to play after one of my bandmates tested positive, apparently Ozzy Osbourne also tested positive for COVID as well. Poor Ozzy, man. He's been through so much health-wise too, right? But I hope he pulls through. I mean, he's been through worse, I think. But he says that, he is getting up there, right? He's, 73 years old now? And they say he was diagnosed and that he's okay. I think he'll pull through, man. Ozzy's tough. He's been through so much. I mean, if you could, bite the head off of a bat and have to get shots for rabies and all that kind of stuff, and all his drug addiction stuff, and his, binge drinking situation and all that. I mean, a little COVID won't take out Ozzy, will it? I hope not. I really do. But yeah, it's sad to hear that. Poor Ozzy. My thoughts go out to him as well. Paul says he's been in his place several times. I'm 75, so I know how you feel. The only thing I can say is no matter how things go, you will be okay. You really, really will be okay. Yeah. I agree with that. No matter how things go, you have to think, you got to move forward. That's what life is all about. But hopefully hopefully things will change, and your mom will be better. Yeah, maybe Fat Philosopher is just messing with us. Fat Philosopher, are you fooling with us? I think he just wants attention. What do you guys think? Ozzy is as pickled as Keith Richards, probably more. Did you ever do a review on your Edwards Gold Top? No, Derek, I didn't do a review on that guitar yet. It is in the lineup. There's a few other things I have to actually do reviews of first that I'm trying to get it out in priority order. And I wasn't able to get it done quickly enough, but it's coming. One of the things, actually, you just reminded me, because yes, the answer is yes, that Edwards video is coming up. I'm definitely going to be doing that video soon. One of the things I wanted to say also, guys, is that last week I mentioned that there would be a giveaway coming up. I don't know if you guys tuned in last week or not, but basically there is a giveaway coming up. And actually tomorrow is the day that the video is going to go live talking about that giveaway. Now, since you guys are loyal supporters of the channel and you're always here, I did give you a heads up last week. There might be some of you that didn't actually hear that, so I'm going to say it again. There's a giveaway that we're doing. Addicted to Gear has teamed up with Guitar Kit World. Now, I don't know if you remember, but last in 2021, I think May of 2021, I did a review of a guitar kit from Guitar Kit World, which ultimately turned into my my guitar there. Let me just grab it. Give me 1 second. Since we're talking about the guitars, I like to show what I'm talking about. So give me a second. I'll just grab that guitar real quick. There we go. So this is the one that ultimately was used. Okay, this is a kit from Guitar Kit World that I built. This is my version of a Kramer, you know, Eddie Van Halen style Kramer. Since we were talking about that earlier, I thought I'd show that, you know, front and back. And, you know, with the 514 decals and the Floyd and everything. I think it came out really, really well, and Guitar Kit World has some really nice guitar kits. And so this is one I got from them. If you haven't checked out the video on that, go back and watch it. But the important thing is that there's going to be a giveaway, and you guys have an opportunity to win a guitar kit. Not one, but two, actually, because, excuse me, I'm going to be giving away one on my channel. They're going to be giving away one on their channel on behalf of Addicted to Gear. All right. So what do you need to do? If you're in the market for a guitar kit, maybe you want to build a guitar, the grand total prize will be 2 guitar kits, I think worth $500 USD. That's combined. Okay. They have some really nice guitar kits that you can get for that money. Now, they have not just this type of guitar. They have, you know, Strat style guitars, Les Paul style guitars, Flying V. They have basically everything that you want. So you can basically enter the contest. It's pretty simple to do. All you really have to do is a couple of things. One is you have to subscribe to my channel, which most of you guys are already subscribed to. So that's already one down. If you're not subscribed, definitely do that first. You have to also subscribe to the Guitar Kit World YouTube channel. So once you're subscribed to both, that you're halfway there. The other thing you need to do is you want to go into the Guitar Kit World videos that they have posted. You want to click on any one of those videos and tell us a story about how you fell in love with guitars. What started your love for guitars? And, you know, make it interesting. The more interesting and eye-catching your comment is, the better chance you have to be selected, but you only have 50 words, 50 characters to do it, so you have to be pretty to the point. And the most important thing is somewhere in that comment you have to have hashtag addicted to gear contest in the comment. Okay, so when you do that, then we're going to let the contest run for about a week or so, and then we're going to make this, we're going to select the winners and announce the winners. I think it's going to be the 16th of May. So all this information with the links and everything is going to be posted probably today or tomorrow on my YouTube channel. So make sure you take a look at the video, follow the rules, do what you need to do to enter, and you have a really good chance of winning some really nice guitar kits. I know a lot of you out here are very interested in building your own guitars, and that's a perfect way of doing it, because if you start with a good quality guitar kit, you basically are halfway there. Then you could concentrate on the paint job and the tweaking and whatnot. Okay, so so Keith says, Tony, if we win, how long will it take you to put it together for us? Thanks, Tony. Send it to me. I'll put it together for you. No problem, Keith. I'm pretty I'm pretty happy with doing that. I love building guitars, so I don't think that would be a problem. Eddie Jr. saying, I'm sure Landon's just beating a dead horse about Telecasters. Don't worry. I mean, poor Landon. He's doing what he's got to do, man. He's got to feed the monster. You got to create content. You have to put content out there, regardless of what it is. Surfer By says, I've done a few MGTs and Wormouth builds, but never a guitar kit. Well, the MGT stuff is awesome. The Wormouth stuff is top of the line. Working with a guitar kit requires a little bit more attention, because you might not be, it might not be as easy to find parts that fit, because, but the good thing is that you can generally tweak them, Fat Philosopher says, I DM'd my question to Tony on Instagram. All right. Here we go. Man, we're really having to go far to get this question in here. Oh, okay, I see it now. Fat Philosopher, he says, my Floyd Rose kept in perfect tune for 2 weeks. Today it suddenly went flat by over a half step. Can't get it back in tune. Why would this happen? Okay, so that's a very good question. Suddenly went flat half a step. So if it's going flat, okay, so either, I would say there's a couple of things. When it comes to Floyd Rose issues, Fat Philosopher, the important thing with Floyd's to keep them working properly is that nothing moves, right? And so the only place that could move, there's a couple of places that your thing could move, okay? So there's the back, the claw, okay? Now, if the claw moves for whatever reason, it should not move. I mean, the screws that you have in the back of your guitar should be anchored in solidly enough that they wouldn't move, okay? But check to see if the screws are loose for whatever reason. They're probably not, but just do the due diligence and check that out, okay? That's number one. Number two, the actual individual saddles have a little hex screw on each one that holds it in place. Sometimes they loosen up and they slide forward, okay? You want to make sure those are pretty tightly down and not moving. From time to time with vibrations and other things, they will get loose. So just check that, okay? That's number two. And number three, and this is usually the culprit, is right here. The actual locking mechanism, okay? You have the individual 3 locking tabs on the top. Those have to be also cranked down pretty solidly. But sometimes the actual base of the locking nut will move. If you're using screws that are like not as good quality screws, and you're doing a lot of dive bombing, that could definitely move on you. Sometimes the hole where the screw is in actually gets a little bit loosened up by the going back and forth, and that can also cause things to shift on you, okay? So that's one of the things you want to check. And if you don't have a bar holding your strings down, you want to have a bar holding your strings down, because the angle has to, like, you want to press down the strings as much as possible. Those are the main aspects of what would cause your guitar to do that and go flat. If it's going flat, it means the strings are slipping somewhere. So basically, that's what you need to do. You need to basically eliminate all of those areas and see whether or not you have anything that is slipping. Sometimes also, by cranking down the locking nut here, you kind of slowly build in a groove in the bass, especially if it's a cheaper type Floyd Rose. The material tends to be a little bit softer, and if you start getting a groove in there, the strings can slip through. You know, so I don't know if that answers your question. The knife edges, you know, would cause it to go out of tune, Alan. Like I would say, like the knife edges could cause it to go out of tune if it's not returning to pitch. So the way he's described the issue, I don't think it's like it not returning to pitch. It actually just went flat all of a sudden. So that to me means something slipping. It could also be the truss rod, but if it's the truss rod and it's going like it's suddenly off by that much, I would say that you would probably notice the action on the guitar. Like you would probably be getting buzzing on the guitar and stuff if it was the truss rod that would that moved on you. You know. So yeah, it's the. If I can see the guitar, you know, and actually, like, if I had it here, I'd be able to probably point out what the issue is rather quickly. But just doing it blind like this, it's hard to say. Is it a real Floyd or is it like a knockoff Floyd? That's one of the things that probably would help me answer your question as well. The whole guitar went flat. Like every single string went flat. Interesting. So if it's every single string that went flat, it's definitely something. I'm thinking it's probably going to be on this end, not on that end. Unless, because here you have 3 individual locking sections, so it would be like maybe one of them would be loose, but to have all of them loose at the same time, not likely, unless the entire nut shifted. Is there a space between your nut and the edge of your fretboard? Do you see a gap there? Because if you suddenly see a gap there, it could be that the whole nut is moving. Vox says his guitars go flat in the winter and sharp in the summer. Yeah, but it's usually a gradual thing. Like, it seems to me that Fat Philosopher's telling us that it's sudden. You know what I mean? That happened, like, really quickly. And he says it's a Floyd Rose special. Okay, so the Floyd Rose specials typically have issues with keeping themselves in tune as well. Yeah, I would say it's more likely something shifted forward, but it's the whole thing. So it's odd that the whole thing shifted forward, in my opinion. I mean, unless your posts are moving. Did the posts on your Floyd, did you put additional tension on them? Is there a gap? Do they move around left to right? Or are they snug inside the posts? You know, are they snug within the receiving portion of the posts? It's a good question. Perhaps other people might be able to suggest a couple of things. Alan was asking, was the guitar adjusted in any way before it went flat? Yeah, was anything done to the guitar before? Did you change your strings? Did you do anything else? Or did it just, were you dive bombing like crazy and then all of a sudden it went flat, or you just picked it up one day and everything was flat? Yeah, the temperature does affect the tuning for sure, depending on the type of guitar that you're using. But it's just odd that it would be like so sudden and all of the strings. If you leave your guitar in a hot, let's say you have it in a case, or you're leaving it in your car, and your car is hot, like extreme temperature changes like that would or could affect your your guitar suddenly like that. Saint Brando says Floyd Rose secret 2, titanium blocks and screws and string bar on the headstock. Very important. I agree. The string bar, people underestimate the string bar. It's very important. Titanium blocks is good because the blocks, what Saint Brando's talking about when he says titanium blocks, is the titanium, the little block within the bridge that holds the string in place. Those can definitely slip sometimes. So you have to be careful with those, because what ends up happening is that they do get indented and then the strings slowly slip out. Titanium is a harder material and can avoid that. So that's definitely something that might have caused that issue, okay? What else? So my Floyd Rose secret is that I play a Bigsby and I'm not affected by all this tremolo insanity, or you can just not get a trem at all. This is one of the reasons why I slowly shifted away from Floyd's, except for the this guitar and the Franken Strat, because they have to have a Floyd, right? Other than that, I use the Vega Trems as well, which I feel are quite good. One other thing, Fat Philosopher, is you want to look at the angle of your bridge in comparison to the body. Has your bridge tilted like this suddenly, or tilted like that? It should be perfectly flat when it's in balance. And if it isn't, that could lead to an issue with the springs not being, that may have slipped or stretched or whatever. So you might want to look at that as well. All right. Good question. Good question. Russell says Wormuth was grandfathered in from Boogie Bodies on the Fender neck licensing. They still have some deals, but if you want something that fits your pocket or is a modern upgrade, WM is a good way to go. All right, it's good. That's a good tip. Good advice. Saint Brando says Floyd Rose Special changed the cheap blocks to titanium and also the screws on the locking nut. Yeah, anything that's a moving part on those Floyd Rose Specials tend to get used up rather quickly, because the material of the type of metal is not as solid as it could be. Also, even you'll notice the edge of the knife edges on the pivot posts will tend to wear out rather quickly on those the specials. Okay. Presley California Custom says, so if it dropped half a step from E to E flat, good to go. Rock and roll. Ed would do that all the time. Actually, I've read a lot of things regarding how his Floyd was set up, and it actually was not set up in tune completely. It actually was a little bit out of tune, especially on the B string. And most of the time, the band would tune to his guitar because it was more of a pain for him to try and tune his guitar perfectly than for the band to basically tune to Ed's guitar. These are the compromises you have to make with a Floyd sometimes. Hey, Giovanna, nice to see you. I think you're new. I haven't seen you here before. Welcome. Octopus Ear says, I love my hip shop trem. Russell says, hardtail is an option, kids. Definitely is. And sometimes the hardtails actually sound better, in my opinion. And Russell also says, just reef on that neck. And who needs a trem? I think he means a riff. Hipshot FTW says California Customs. Surfer By says, I have an 82 Gibson 30th anniversary Les Paul Gold Top that I abused horribly through the 80s and 90s, left in cars on freezing nights, etc. It's truly relict. Yeah, you'll definitely do that by putting them in cars in the middle of winter and stuff like that. So, yeah, you definitely want to be careful there. And Presley builds hardtails, in case you were wondering. So it's it will that's always an option. Okay, something must be slipping. Yes, indeed, Fat Philosopher, something would be slipping for sure. That's the disadvantage with Floyds. You know, they're good one day and they're not and they're a pain in the ass the next day. So you have to be careful with them. You have to make sure they're in tip-top shape all the time. Does anyone know what the string pull spacing on a Fender wide range humbucker is? Good question. I wouldn't know what that is. But if anybody owns one and you have an opportunity to take a quick measurement, please let us know. I think nylon strings could work on a Floyd. I've never tried that. I'm wondering if the flat wound strings would wreak havoc on a Floyd, because you don't have any tooth for the strings to grip in the bridge. You know, I'm sure they would never stay in tune. I've never tried it, but I have a feeling that's what would happen. In all fairness, 90% of the music I listen to is half a step down. Once I start trying to learn it by ear, from Thin Lizzy to Alter Bridge, they're all a half step down. Seems to be the sweet spot. I do agree that the half step down sounds much better. Sounds more rock and roll to me. I usually have at least one guitar here tuned half a step down at all times, and it definitely sounds better. Fat Philosopher says it was an E flat, now it's dropped to F. Okay. Yeah, that's quite a bit of a drop. Not usually normal. Bass tremolos are an unholy abomination to God and man. I'm a bass player and I've played one, so I've had that experience firsthand. I haven't seen too many people playing bass tremolos, so there's got to be a reason why. And Quicksilver says, keep going until it goes to A. More rock and roll, for sure. That's funny. That's, you know, again, this is the reason why I slowly wean myself off of the Floyds, because they seem to require a lot more just love to get them to work properly. So, you know, one of those things. You know what? I had talked about this a while ago. Like I like the Charvels a lot. I'm a big Charvel fan, and I like the Charvels are one of the guitars that do actually have a Floyd on them, but it's an 80s thing. You know, it's like the Charvel for me is really geared towards revisiting those 80 days, the 80 era, and I really like the satchel models. I know it's kind of like, for sure, big head, big hair land in terms of those flashy paint jobs with the the eye-catching finishes and whatnot. But they've released another version of the satchel mod. It's the Pro Mod version, which is the DK22. And now they have one that is it's white with black. What do they call the striping on that? It's made to mimic Bengal stripes. I don't know. There's an actual name for those things. I think it's just a Bengal stripe finish is what they call it. Anyways, they've come out with a nice one that's actually white and black with a nice maple fretboard and two humbuckers with the Floyd. Looks really nice. You know, I'm really tempted to grab one of those, or maybe at least make one of my own paint jobs on one of my guitars. If I'm not mistaken, they also upgraded the pickups on on that one, and I think they put in a pair of Fishman Fluence Classic humbuckers in that with the push-pull mod. I'm not a big fan of the push-pull mod thing, but the guitar overall looks pretty sexy to me. You know, I've been I still think that the Charvels offer great value for the money because they're always hovering at about $1,000. The thing is, you never find them used all that often because people tend to hang on to them, you know, unfortunately. Because if you can grab one for about $800 or $900, it's a good solid guitar. I like them. Man, my dog is in like dog dreamland here. Listen to this snoring, man. Yeah, it's true. Floyd Roses are great if you have a guitar tech and you don't have to worry about it, you know. Russell says this is the first time I've heard of MJT. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, definitely you want to do more homework. They make some really nice relic bodies. They usually sell them on eBay. They're not inexpensive. Any of those bodies could vary between $400 and $500 sometimes. You can sometimes get them at the low end at $300 or so, but usually the bidding goes up to over $300 for those bodies. Beautiful finishes in terms of relicing. You can get what they call a closet classic, or you can get one that's like really relic a lot. But if you're building your own guitars and you want something with a nice nitro finish with really nice colors, they do a good job on them. They look very convincing. Gear Junkie, good morning, nice to see you. Jonathan, how's it going, my friend? God, am I struggling with my addiction. I just bought 2 new guitars, both really nice 70s Japanese copies of the J200 Cortez and a Lyle Dove, but $600 for both. Couldn't pass. Well, $600 for both, that's quite a bargain. You know, you don't usually find those old Japanese guitars for much of a bargain anymore. You have to get lucky because a lot of people have their eyes open for those guitars now. So you got to move fast when you see them, but that's not a bad price. I mean, for 2 guitars, pretty nice. If you're gonna, do they require any work, Jonathan, or they're in pretty good condition? What do you think? Jeff says, I spent the best of 20 years trying to learn Don't Believe a Word in standard tuning, scratching my head wondering how they did it. Yeah, there's a couple of different songs that play around with unique tunings, and if you don't know, it drives you crazy. Because you're like, you know, it's like I gotta jump around. That doesn't make sense. There's gotta be an easier way. And then you realize it's an alternate tuning. You're like, oh, okay. You know, ZZ Top is like that. They have a lot of songs that are in alternate tunings and stuff. And you're like, how do they do it? Especially when you see them playing live and they're always up here, you know, and then you're trying to learn the song in standard tuning and you're somewhere over here. And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Eddie Jr. says, once you play an original Floyd, you won't play the cheaper versions, just not as good. I agree. Absolutely true. 100%. House of Twang says, Russell, it's possible to have Warmoth build you a neck, ship it to MJT to build your guitar. Yeah, I heard that they will do that. And I think even if you don't want to have Warmoth build you a neck, you can ship your own neck and they can build it for you. But the whole fun is building it yourself. You know. But yeah, you can do it. If you don't have the skills to do it, then yeah, you can definitely do it. Excuse me, 1 second. I just want to make sure. There's I just want to make sure there's nobody trying to text me directly, to DM me directly. St. Brando says, never played with the tuning on a Floyd Rose. Keep it in one tuning. Yeah, definitely. Once you have it stabilized, don't touch it. Leave it the way it is, you know. That's why I think a lot of people don't even change strings often on Floyds, because it's such a pain to get everything back in order. All right, I picked up a Charvel DK24 HH over the winter, no Floyd. It has a recessed trem. I love the guitar except for the chip I put in it and now have to drop fill. Oh man. That's really, getting a chip in a guitar is the worst. I have to admit it. That's one of the reasons why I kind of like guitars with nitro thin skin finish, because they don't chip. They do dent, they do scratch, but they don't chip. And the chips always, it's very hard to, you drop fill a chip and not make it obvious. Unless it's a black guitar or a white guitar. If it's any other color, it's kind of hard to match. Always a pain. The Eagle and Pony Show says, Floyd Rose fast loaders, you don't have to cut the end off in the strings. Another great tip. And Fat Philosopher says, yeah, the Rain song is awesome. Avoid the Floyd says, Vox guitars rock. Let me just scroll down. I'm falling behind in a lot of these questions here. I live in Oregon, and you can go to get downed logs on a wood cutting permit if you, I guess, if you're into really building your own guitars from scratch. I'm seeing lots of reviews lately on CGTLV classic Telecasters, but I check pricing and they go for $2,989.38 on Amazon. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I tried to actually contact the people over at CG and see if they would be willing to ship a guitar. They initially said they would, but then they told me they were reworking the shape of the neck and that I would have to wait on that. And tried reaching back out to them and dead air. So I don't know what the story is with that. I don't know if things have changed over there or what. But maybe one day I'll be able to get one and give you my opinion on that guitar. Eddie says, I was looking at the EVH white black guitar. Would you recommend it? Could you be more specific? White black. Which one were you looking at there? I know that EVH guitars recently updated some colors. I don't know if you saw that. They actually released a few more colors. So I don't know if you're looking specifically for the white black guitar. I like the EVH guitars. Are you talking? Sorry, I'm thinking Wolfgang. I was referring to the Wolfgang. You might be referring to the white black striped guitar. That's two different things. I was referring to them releasing new colors for the Wolfgang models. If you want to, if you like the EVH white black guitar, I don't think it's a bad guitar, but it's probably overpriced for what it is, because basically you're paying for a paint job. You can probably build a guitar like that for a lot less money. But if you don't have the skills to do it and you really want an off-the-shelf version, sure, why not? But I think they're kind of gouging a little bit because they're basically, it's one pickup thing, and it's basically a pretty straightforward paint job that you're paying for. Leo says the best is when the tiny short set screws falls out of the D-tuna onto a carpeted floor. Poof, gone. There's a solution. You can always get yourself some of those rare earth magnets that are super strong. Just pass them around the area. You're bound to find one eventually. And you might find other things in the carpet as well. Jonathan says, I have a Biancardi classical guitar that has a redwood top with a cherry back neck and side. Paid $390 for it. Blew my mind how great it sounded. Built in Los Osos, California in '84. Still haven't found any info. So you seem to be a collector of more obscure guitars, Jonathan. That's pretty cool. I'm telling you, some of these old guitars floating around were just great, and they age so well, they mature so well that they even sound better after 30 years or so. And if you can grab them and you can find them and get to them quick before somebody else does, it's a great buy. Paul says Floyd Rose were involved with the design of the Korean Floyd 1000 and recommended it as the go-to for budget guys. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't tell you how much of a difference you'll find between the Floyd 1000s, you know, the specials and other. But there's a lot of knockoffs floating around, guys. We want to be careful on eBay. There's a lot of Chinese versions of these Floyds that are selling for peanuts. Stay away from those. Yeah, FU Tone has a lot of these modding parts. You can basically find anything for a Floyd on FU Tone. So if you're looking for, you know, any type of upgrades for your Floyd, that's probably the best place to go. You'll be able to find everything there. Russell says, if I wanted to offer roughed out CNC bodies for people to finish, that's pretty easy too. If people ended up asking for it, it's not hard to add or subcontract out. There's actually quite a few people selling the CNC bodies for people to finish on places like eBay and such. The only thing is that you really don't know what the wood, how the wood was prepared, if it was actually kiln dried or not. Most of the time, these people don't have the equipment to kiln dry the wood. So you end up getting a piece of wood that's rather heavy and has a potential to split when it actually dries out if it hasn't already been dried out properly. So you have to know where the wood is coming from and how they're preparing it. Ryan says a shop near me is selling a new Marshall snakeskin SV20 head and 12-inch cabinet basically for the price of the head alone. Worth it? I would say yes. I love my SV20. It's a great amp. Love it. The snakeskin obviously is not for everybody, but I think it's pretty cool. And if it comes with a matching 12-inch cab and it has a decent speaker in there, I don't know what kind of speaker because you haven't mentioned, but if it's a decent speaker in a 12-inch cab, yeah, why not? I'd grab it. The snakeskin's rock and roll, man. Fat Philosopher says tonally is a Vega better than a Floyd Rose. I wouldn't say better, it's just different. Because the Vega is not a locking trem. So, you know, if you're looking at locking your tuning down, that's not what a Vega trem does, right? And it's expensive. It's not cheap. But if you want to upgrade a standard bridge, the Vega trem is very, very good. It's actually super smooth. And, you know, for upgrading a standard bridge, I think it's well worth it. But it's not a Floyd. People get confused by that. There's nothing locking on a Vega trim. Alan says, I would recommend the EVH 5150. It actually wasn't on my radar at all, but when I played it, it just felt great and sounded great. Haven't tried the black and white one. The things that I've noticed on those EVH guitars is sometimes they're set up nicely, but most of the time they're not. When they're not set up nicely, they play like garbage. And you think you're getting, like, you think the guitar is not worth it, but it's really just because it's not set up properly. You know, keep that in mind when you're evaluating the guitar. It's unfortunate that a lot of guitar shops don't take the time to actually set up their guitars, but they would actually need a full-time tech in the store, like 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, to go through all the guitars. Because by the time you're done with your guitars, you have to basically start over if people are playing them in the shop, you know. Russell says, we have a lot of natural resources here. I could just as easily go collect 8 different colors of obsidian, but there are already a lot of rock hounds here, and the gold people will shoot you. Sorry, guys. Cheers. Questions are coming in here. Dan says, I just bought a Harley Explorer copy for $200 shipped. Solves my craving for an Ibanez Destroyer, putting in a Super Distortion and 59 PAF. And there you go. You're in business. I saw those guitars. They're nice. They're very nice. I think the only thing is I'm not that crazy about the headstock design on that particular one. There's something about the original Destroyer headstock that's cool, you know. But yeah, that'll definitely scratch your itch for $200, you know. How can you get a guitar for $200 these days? I don't know how they do it. Yeah, the kill switch is cool. If you're going to add a detuna as well, that kind of completes the functionality and the look. Russell says, but if someone wanted, they could crank out 1,000 walnut Telecaster bodies for the cost of carving and gas to go get the wood. I think the other companies in town would visit me. They probably would visit you with a little friend. Oh boy. Yeah, Paul says, Tony, the Floyd 1000 is $200. It's on the Charvels. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, my Charvel had one like that too. It wasn't a bad Floyd. It wasn't bad. And Russell says, you don't need kiln drying for wood. You need time and proper condition. If you have a closet and time, you can season your own wood. And honestly, it's better if it's slow seasoned. It is better, Russell, but it would take a long time. And a lot of people want to like mass produce the stuff. They don't want to wait, right? You can always bring your wood to places that can kiln dry them for you. But of course, it's extra money. Yeah, that's true. You can ruin a lot of wood by botching your kiln. Yeah. And Eddie says, I'm torn between the Wolfgang striped or the 5150. That's not a problem, Eddie. All you got to do is get both. Give me a real problem. That's not a problem. All right, let me just damn long stream today. Yeah, why not? What the hell? I'm basically going long today because I don't feel like practicing. No, I'm gonna be wrapping it up soon, guys. But when I have good questions, I just like to go on a little bit more. Anyone use the Wilkinson locking saddles like on the Sir Pete Thorne signature? Do they help? I like those. I like the Wilkinson locking saddles. I wanted to get a set for myself as well. I didn't buy one yet. I'm sure they do help, but I'm not sure you're getting way more than what you would get on something like a Vega Trem. And it's only locking on one side, right? Yeah, Vox Guitar Rock. There you go. He agrees with me. Just buy them all. Dan of New Jersey says, if there's a major issue with a guitar and I'm interested in it, bring it right over to the tech, tell them it's unplayable, and insist they adjust it for testing. I tweak myself at home. Good idea. Good tip. Yeah, that's true, Russell. Every time someone mentions another Sir model, all I can think of is the shiny blue Pensa that Knopfler has, and it's amazing. Yeah, they do crank out some great-looking guitars, I gotta say. I do follow the Sir Instagram channel, and they regularly post beautiful, like gorgeous pictures of their guitars. I'm like, oh, stop, you're killing me. Killing me, guys. I don't know how much more I can take before I snap and end up getting something. I'm being strong here, guys. I'm being strong. Yeah, I have the Modern Pro too. Standard Pro, actually, not a Modern Pro. Great guitar. I don't play nearly enough. They are excellent guitars, and they are pricey. Yeah. Yeah, did you sell your Music Man Access because it was just a smaller guitar? No, I sold the Music Man Access because I didn't bond with the thickness at the nut. Unfortunately, that Music Man has a little bit of a narrower measurement right up here, and it was just a little bit too small for me. And it was one of those things where when I bought it, I'm like, I'll get used to it, But I never did, and after a while, it just wore me down, and I'm like, I gotta get rid of this guitar. And it's a shame because everything about that guitar was really top notch, and the neck was great on that guitar, just felt so good, except for the width of the neck at the nut. Do you think the Gibson tributes will last, or will they be mothballed like Gibson did with the traditionals? Who knows? It's so hard to tell what Gibson is up to these days. They were on a rampage there for a while where they were making a whole bunch of models based on different types of artists, and it seemed like that was very lucrative for them because there was a period where they were just doing that for everyone. Now I think they kind of calmed that down a little bit. I think what they really need to do, if they really want to have anything long-term to offer, is finally introduce the improvements that everybody's been asking for on their guitars for a long time. But I know how it's a double-edged sword because guitarists, especially people that are into like vintage stuff, are very finicky because they want something better, but they don't want you to change anything. So it's like, make it better, but don't change it. And then as soon as it goes a little bit too far, then they don't like it anymore. So it's really hard for companies to make these type of people happy, other than produce a new model. And why wouldn't Gibson do that? Why wouldn't Gibson make a modern version beyond that atrocity that they released not long ago that was based on an old design that looked terrible? I'm sure they probably sold one. But if they come out with, let's say, okay, we're going to release the modern Les Paul and take that guitar and bring it into the modern era, perhaps even take a few pointers from John Suhr, because he created quite a really nice Les Paul style guitar. It was a limited run, and I think he stopped. Maybe he was threatened by Gibson, who knows. But that guitar was killer. It had some really nice features on it. And, if they would come out with a guitar like that with the modern improvements, I think people would appreciate it, Ryan Burns says, thoughts on Sterling versus Music Man. Friend just got himself the Music Man St. Vincent, not knowing they made Sterling versions for less. She's still happy with it, but would have wanted to try both. My opinion, and I did have a Sterling and I did have a Music Man, is that they're two different guitars. The Sterlings look like the Music Man. They're not made the same way. They don't feel the same way. And they don't sound the same way. So you're getting a close approximation of the look, but that's pretty much where it ends, in my opinion. I'm not saying the Sterlings are bad. They just don't expect the same feel and quality that you're getting on the Music Mans. They're not the same. The California Music Man is better, definitely. The Luke 3 is amazing, I would agree. Great guitar. Vox Guitars Rock says Ron Kryn has made lots of killer Telecasters with 100+ year old barn boards. They sound spectacular. Well, my purple Telecasters behind me here, down there on the, well, you can't see it, but it's hanging on right there. That is 100-year-old reclaimed barn wood, and it's I have to agree, there is something special about that guitar. John Suhr said that guitar was difficult to make at a reasonable price point. It is difficult to make because it's a whole different process. You're not just slapping parts together. It takes a lot more time, and effort, and so the price goes up and up and up. And the Sir guitars are already so expensive, so it's going to be hard to kind of cut corners so that it's affordable. So I would, I understand why, excuse me, why it's not feasible. Surfer By says, Eddie Jr., a load I don't have at the moment. That's why I started building guitars. Sterling is super nice, like PRS SE. The Sterling that I had also had a Floyd on it, and it wasn't that great. The Floyd wasn't that great. Steve says, check out the Kramer Assault. It's like a Les Paul with a Floyd Rose. I don't know if I would want to put a Floyd Rose on a Les Paul style guitar. Some people have done it. Gibson has done it. I know even PRS has had the Torero, where it had like a Floyd type bridge on it. But I don't know if I'd want to go that route. Yeah, that's the interesting thing about the Sterling Luke. It has a very nice, the neck is an acquired taste. Either you like it or you don't. It's a very, I'm not a huge fan of the body shape on the Luke. It's just a little bit, there's some like carves in there that are not really necessary in my opinion. So you either like it or you don't. That's one of the things that, basically that's what it boils down to. But I guarantee you the Music Man stuff is good. It's good quality. You can't go wrong with it. It's expensive, but it's good quality. So if you have the budget for it, you're not gonna regret picking one up. That's for sure. All right. So guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I've been talking almost 2 hours. Where has the time gone? Good chat. I'm very happy to have seen you guys asking some really nice questions. Yeah, Fat Philosopher says the Alex Lifeson Floyd Rose Epiphone sold like hotcakes. Because you either like those, like it's hard to get a Floyd on something like a Les Paul. So if they're making them, you want to grab them because they won't be around forever, and there's not that many people doing it. So I'm not surprised that they've sold like hotcakes as well. Okay, guys, thank you for tuning in once again to another episode of Addicted to Gear live Sunday streaming show. I really appreciate all you guys and your comments. I'm happy to see that you guys come prepared with some great questions, and there was a couple of head scratchers on that one. Fat Philosopher says we wasted an hour looking for my question. No, man, don't worry about it. It's all good. That's what we're here for. We're here to answer questions. I'm just wondering why your question never popped up. Maybe that's something you can check out. House of Twang, thank you very much for the super chat. Well appreciated. Always very appreciative of anybody trying to support the channel, and just being here, guys, is awesome support. Guys, don't forget, sign up for that contest. I want to see one of you guys win that contest, okay? I'd be very happy if one of you walks away with a super nice guitar kit, because I know it's going to go to somebody that's going to appreciate it, and eventually you will even be able to see how it turns out if you build it. Maybe you can send some pictures in. That would be really cool, all right? So don't forget, guys, please watch that video, subscribe for that, enter the contest, and don't wait till the last minute, because then you forget, and you just do it right away. All right, guys, have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. Have an awesome week. Make sure you guys set your calendar for next Sunday so you can tune in. As usual, we're going to have some great stories and great advice for everybody here, okay? Ed says, Sunday is a work day for me. Enjoy the day. Well, sorry to hear that, Ed, but hopefully this live Sunday show has given you the energy and the pep to kind of get your day done quicker and get back home to playing your guitars. Cheers, everybody. Have a great Sunday. Talk to you guys soon. Be good humans and take care of each other, all right? All right. Talk to you guys soon.